Hey guys, welcome to another session of Pro Teaches Noobs. We got a new student with us, my good friend Ingrid.
Hi!
And returning students, Raymond and Bianca.
Hello.
Hi!
And as we were teasing last time, we'll be going over the Archie Horror line. Now, Archie's been around a long time. It's been around as long as DC and Marvel. Now, let's get out of the way. When you guys think Archie, what do you guys think?
My impression of Archie Comics, just from what little I know about them, seems to be generally something a bit more on the lines of wacky, silly, and lighthearted. Like, I know that's sort of like the trope namer for the Betty and Veronica tropes on TV tropes, for instance.
Literally,
and the
yes.
art style would seem to suggest something. So them doing horror with something like that just kind of tickles me on a curiosity level.
What about you two?
I know very little about Archie, other than I used to see their comics on the, at the cashier at the grocery store when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Although to hear that they do horror with like the Predator,
with their characters and all.
yeah, that fascinates me. I'm curious to see where that goes.
Bianca?
For me,
Yep.
Also at the grocery stores, but I remember actually getting one. It might have been my sister's. Funny enough,
If you guys are hearing noise in the background, I got my dad doing some work there, so it can't be helped. Continue, Bianca. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. Funny enough, I was thinking about it a few years ago. I was like, oh my gosh, do you remember remember when we got that Archie comic? She's like, no. And I'm like, bro, I remember it perfectly. I remember the pages and what it was about. But now I don't. It's completely gone from my brain.
Oh boy. But to get us started, we're going to do a bit of a primer first, starting with one of the first big crossovers that came right out of nowhere. You think that would never work, but yet it somehow did. Archie meets the Punisher. Now, part of what brought this about was Tom DeFalco, who at this point was the editor-in-chief of Marvel, had got a start at Archie. And just through some crazy talk, it was decided, hey, why don't we have the two meet? So it was decided that John Buscema, the Marvel's artist, would be handling all the Punisher artwork, and Steve Goldberg would be doing the Archie artwork. And it's actually seamlessly blends in, but it's an interesting scene. But just right off the bat, I want to hear, what do you guys think just from this concept alone?
Edgy.
This looks like it's going to be ridiculous in the best way.
How many people are going to die in the process of all of this? What? The Punisher is in there.
Actually, there's a good story reason behind it all, but yeah, I mean, we open up with this one guy. We don't know who he is, but he's being, running, cursing, and all that. And as the Punisher is after him, and eventually the guy finds it's going to be heading to Riverdale. This guy happens to look like Archie. Yep, he's a criminal, looks like Archie, which, believe it or not, people coming into Riverdale who look like Archie and causing misunderstandings is not anything new.
Oh
it's
boy!
A regular occurrence. But yeah, then we cut to, you think, Archie's being in the scopes. It was actually Veronica's cousin, which causes Archie to support Veronica, which shoots torpedoes his date for that night. And then this is what we get to, at the same time, Punisher is trying to find this guy. He's making his way through, just asking questions. Him and Microchip are driving on over there still. Basically, it's a case of they're about to intersect. But when they do, and Frank shows up, he's actually taken in by the wholesomeness of this whole place. It actually feels like what could have been with him and his family. So, and Microchip is the one, pointing us out. He's realizing all this. Like, even he says, didn't think places like this still existed. We could say it's an endangered species.
Wow, I didn't expect something that deep.
Yeah. And, but then, due to some of the misunderstandings and everything, as usual. Now, see, this is where you're starting to see the two artworks are starting to intercept a bit. as these thugs come in, they think that Archie is Red, the gangster hoodlum guy, and after some stuff with Veronica is with Red, thinking that it's Archie.
Oh no!
Christ, what the hell?
Yep. And Reggie's, of course, heckling him while he's with Betty. Reggie's basically Archie's best friend who, especially when the married life came around, he's always getting the one who gets rejected in the end. The two are always, and you'll be seeing a lot of, okay, the characters you'll be seeing throughout all these books will be Archie, Jughead, Betty and Veronica, Reggie, Moose, and Midge. Those are going to be the ones that are definitely going to be reoccurring throughout all of them. The other one who hasn't been introduced yet would be Kevin Keeler. That's the gay character that was introduced, who was introduced very well. In fact, if I go off for a moment, the way he was introduced, he shows up in Riverdale, people are liking him. Veronica is swooning over him, but he's not even showing any interest, which she's doing everything she can to get his attention. Eventually, after she leaves, Jughead asks him, "Hey, why aren't you paying attention to her? You admit she's gay." To which Jughead's cracking up and he realizes, oh, this is rich. And so he keeps it a secret from Veronica. And basically she keeps on throwing herself more and more at Kevin until eventually the truth comes out, including the truth that Jughead knew this whole time. Shenanigans ensue. The end.
Huh.
Yeah, no, that is a clever way of doing it, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, but anyway, oh boy, Frank catches up to Archie. Uh-oh. But like the Punisher, yeah, they know who he is. So, yeah.
Kill him, Punisher, kill him.
All at the same time, there's a Josie and the Pussycat concert going on.
Josie and the Pussycat.
Oh, awesome.
Yep. Red is putting the moves on Veronica, which is completely creeping her out. Betty is finding things a bit weird. And uh-oh. You says, like, what have I done to deserve this? Both of them are asking themselves that. And Frank realizes, wait, this isn't Red. So he starts to help them out, shooting at the guys. They get away. Archie gets away. Frank meets up with Microchip. Everyone is scrambling. They try to report them to the cops. They've made some false reports before. It's like, yeah, I'm not a cat burglar. I was going through the window because I lost my keys, or they're filming a movie. All these false alarms. So they're not going to believe him. They're spying. Frank's spying in on the goons. The cops get all taken down. Now this is a case where the artwork does get a little wonky because it's like instead of doing the Archie cops, they're like realistic cops. I don't know if these are supposed to be the Riverdale police or not, but you know what I mean? It's a weird one, but yeah, basically Archie meets up with the others. They explain a bit about what's going on, and all that thing like, hey, what's the attitude? But then they soon put two and two together. Right off, we see then Frank is basically he's undercover as the new gym teacher, just to keep things undercover. But just look at that smile on his face when he sees that it's up to you to keep Riverdale clean. You could tell that he just feels like, yeah, this is weird. Like, however he did those Riverdales not without his own share of graffiti. The type of graffiti he likes, though. Just stuff like that. And again, things are continuing on with Red and Veronica. Then you see Frank meeting up with Miss Grundy, that's the teacher. Now, see what I mean here about the artwork? It's like, it's really, they really, it's odd, but yeah, he takes a liking to Miss Grundy in this whole she's a sweet old lady type of way. Like again, just there are people in Riverdale. Frank just thought like, I didn't think people like this existed anymore. You know what I mean? But then, once Red realizes Frank is there, kidnaps Veronica. They realize what's going on. They all run out there and run off. Frank knocks out one of the goons that was there. Shootout happens, but no one gets hurt. Red, the microchip catches up with Red, but then gets sucker punched by Moose, thinking that's Archie. Uh-oh. And again, a whole bunch of shenanigans goes on until finally Frank takes one of them out just with a pie, and then tells Archie, hey, I'm not gonna hurt you. And he says, more importantly, I'm here to see no harm comes to Riverdale. Like he wants to keep this place pure, so that's why he's not gonna gun anyone down.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yep. And then eventually, once they start listening in on some recorded callings, they realize where they're at. They head over. Look at all the balloons. A bunch of Archie characters and Spidey. Archie had Sonic at the time. That's why Sonic is there. Red is trying to find Veronica. And then they eventually, a bunch of more shenanigans happen. And, hold on. Hold on a second. Oh, come on. Pages are stuck together. Don't you hate that?
Yes.
Yes.
I've never
Well,
had
eventually
that
leads
problem.
to
but okay.
Rat getting hooked up on the balloons. His wig falls off as he goes up into the air. He comes down safely. And then he thanks Miss Grundy, who actually saved his life at the party. Gets a little jacket drawn by Goldberg, so it's again showing the clashing. And then there's a tease about Wolverine going after Jughead because he might be the most dangerous mutant alive. So, what did you guys think of that?
That was really, really interesting.
Really wholesome, huh?
Yeah, I was surprised by how wholesome it is, considering it's the fucking Punisher.
But
It's like,
it makes sense.
it does make sense, because it's just like, I mean, sure, like, the Punisher's world is supposed to be super edgy and violent, but it's just like, it's not like the brooding edgelord character that kind of just wants to exude it everywhere they go. It's just like, hey, this place hasn't been tainted by this stuff, so I'm just going to make sure it isn't.
Even if it means I'm not going to kill anyone. Because
Yeah, and I
why should
actually
they have to deal
appreciated
with that?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like, why should they have to deal with that? Yeah. So next is one of the oddballs, and boy, Raymond, I know your reaction.
Oh God in heaven.
Archie versus
Yeah!
Sharknado.
Let's go! Suck it, Raymond.
Why does this exist?
First of all, this came out around the time of Sharknado 3. 3 out of 6, I should point out, movie-wise.
Oh boy!
Not the
And-
first one? Oh, that's a
Nope.
letdown.
Nope, and it's written, well, because it takes place in DC, which was the setting of the third movie.
Ah.
Yeah, this is written by the actual screenwriter and director of the Sharknado movies.
Oh my God.
But yeah, basically they're in Washington D.C. There's a protest going on. Veronica, Mr. Lodge is there for a different reason. Some proposal to be passed. People are saying, "Oh, look at the outrage! Sharknado. Storms have feelings too. Sharks are sacred." It's just playing stuff over the top. But then now Dan Barron, I should point out, is one of the main house artists. But yeah, so they decide, Veronica and Betty decide, let's just chill out and do some sightseeing, leading to some good, them taking some photos and everything. Of course, Veronica wants to strike a pose right next to Lincoln. But eventually, though, a Sharknado starts up right away.
Not gonna waste any time getting to it.
Nope. And unfortunately, Mr. Lodge is killed right off the bat.
Yeah.
Oh
Killing
boy!
Yep,
Yay, blood.
everyone is getting chomped up. Now Betty and Veronica are able to escape through some hijinks, and they actually land right on top of Lincoln. Betty says, honestly, Abe would never drop a lady. And they kill off some sharks too.
Yeah, let's go.
Seeing Betty and Veronica get a bit trashed and tarnished and covered in blood for a while.
These two are human, right? They're not mutants or metahumans, or they're humans. Okay.
Yep.
Just making sure.
Meanwhile, in back in Riverdale,
in
Jughead and Archie
Riverdale.
are what?
What? Nothing.
Are on the beach, and Cheryl Blossom decides since Betty and Veronica aren't there, she'll take a shot at everything. There's a cruise going on at the same time. Yeah, basically, it's just a whole bunch of setup until they find out that the Sharknado is moving. And Betty and Veronica keep on fighting it off, it off every step of the way until it finally reaches Riverdale, and oh boy. Again, just a bunch of craziness, insanity. And
Is that a shark staircase?
Well, basically, they all piled on each other, trying to jump in and get at the cruise ship. So it's just enough for Cheryl and Archie to make their way up.
Yes, so that means yes, Robert.
Yep, yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Midge gets
Just making
bitten,
sure.
Moose tackles him. Sabrina shows up, she gets eaten before she used any of her magic.
Sabrina!
No!
Yep. Again, just insanity. It's just insanity. Jughead gets his hat stolen by one of the sharks. And Betty and Veronica show up in an attack chopper that's made with razor sharp helicopter blades.
Where the fuck did they get that?
Don't know.
Imagination.
Yep, Josie and the Pussycats are going on. And eventually the Sharknado makes their way to Riverdale High. I forget who the blonde is again from the Pussycats, but she gets her arm chopped off.
What?
She's still alive. She's still alive. Betty and Veronica crash down, make a crash landing. The janitor of the high school takes him and reveals he has a bunch of stuff for the weeding and gardening, groundskeeping. Look at all those chainsaws.
Is he secretly a chainsaw murderer? Like, is he?
I don't think so. But then they realize an explosive will knock out the Sharknado. It's worked before in the other movies. So they make their way through. One shark almost gets Midge. Reggie saves her before he gets squashed. And it's just like that. She gives him a kiss. Splot. And then they're reminiscing right next to his dead body. It's like, what? Cheryl has the bomb. Then she gets eaten whole. And just to take a moment from the first movie, eventually Archie takes the chainsaw, jumps inside, cuts it open. Cheryl's okay. They take the bomb, throw it. Jughead gets his hat back, and boom goes the sharks, and the Sharknado stops.
That comic does not fuck around.
Oh,
No, it really doesn't.
Not done yet. Everyone's so happy. You see, Archie and Cheryl are going to be getting together in this one. Betty and Veronica are just like, go girl power, besties to the end. And of course, everyone's like happy endings and everything. How's this just to start this off?
All of those dead sharks.
But yeah, so how was that?
I guess that's truly a happy ending.
So how was that though? Just insanity?
That
It
was
was
nuts.
insanity.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Oh no.
Next
Yes!
Oh boy!
And notice, it's versus, not meets. Versus.
Oh boy!
Yes.
And now, and Bianca, what about your reaction to this?
Oh, I don't watch. I haven't seen Predator.
But come on, just the idea of this.
I mean, I did hear it about a long time ago. I don't know. I'm neutral.
Do you at least know the premise of Predator?
Premise,
whatever.
Premise?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Who's the premise? Someone said premise to me once, and I was like, fuck it, I'll just copy him.
I do the same. I was saying hibiscus instead of hibiscus, and then today at work, and everybody was looking at me like, no, and I'm like, oh, well, this one person said it that way.
I know, right?
They were being snarky about it too. They're like, no, it's Hibicus. I'm like,
Right, but
okay,
anyway,
I'm sorry.
it starts off with it's spring break, and thanks to Jughead winning a contest, everyone's going to the a big beach resort for it all. Now, this artwork is another in-house artist, Fernando Ruiz, and as much as I like Dan Parrott, I really like Fernando's artwork here.
It looks good.
Yep, but yeah, everyone's all happy and everything. They're just having the time of their life. And basically, then they're also told because it's right, around spring break, they gotta get ready for the yearbook. So they decide to do there's some polls they want to do for cutest couple, teacher's pet, and everything, best dressed. And at the same time, something's crashing down. Now you think for a moment it's a shooting star. Nope, it's the Predator ship, but none of them are the wiser. So it's decided to do a contest to decide, a popularity contest to decide who's the best dressed.
Me.
Yeah.
You haven't seen my hoodie?
Yeah,
Everyone
you're a wolf
decides-
in a hoodie. That's you're the best. You win.
Yep, so everyone decides to get involved. Cheryl decides to, because she's not going to enter, but she's going to manipulate things and try and give Betty a helping hand of dealing with Veronica. And I love this. You see Veronica with a hamburger for Jughead, and everyone except for Moose gives her a 10. Moose, his reason is simply, she's nice, but she's not Midge. And Betty shows up, everyone's giving her higher scores. Even Moose gives her a 7 instead of a 6. And Veronica is completely upset. She's just like, this meant everything to me, and you don't even care about fashion. And how in blazes can you force Chanel, even if it is last year? Once she finds out that Cheryl was involved, she just goes berserk. Because basically feel like, you traitor, and she even says, anything else I could have forgiven. Anything but not Cheryl. As the Predators watching them, then this contrived this. Clumsy Archie trips, knocks into Veronica, who then just hits Betty right with her purse, and then Archie and Veronica just start making out.
He finally got some.
He's gotten some before.
I hate to interrupt. I know very little about Archie, Jughead, whatever, all that. Do all these chicks hate each other?
No.
No.
No. They are best friends, but when it comes to Archie, the fangs come out, the claws come out.
So they all have the hots for Archie, and they all compete with each other for his affection.
Yes.
Okay,
Exactly.
I didn't know anything about that.
Now, this case, this kind of exaggerates it a little bit, but to the point where they get bloody and everything. That usually never happens.
Yeah, they are complete bitches to each other.
Yep. But yeah, at the same time, you're seeing Cheryl and her brother Jason are going through, the forest. Betty makes her way to this ancient temple, finds some cursed dagger, and basically calls upon saying, I, Betty Cooper, call down Jaguar vengeance on nasty old Cheryl Blossom and Veronica for punching me in the face and kissing my Archie. And things crumble. She runs out, and as everyone's meeting up, they're all feeling a bit better about everything, calming down, and they see a little bit of blood. Don't see much of it, but if you notice, blood is starting to drip down, and no one's paying attention to it. Until we find out, it turns out Cheryl and Jason got killed by the Predator.
Oh no!
And they're heading back there, and Betty still has the dagger. We see everyone's just celebrating, just making it back home and everything, and it follows them. And what happens? You see Pops, the owner of the diner, showing up. Right at the same time, Dilton, the smart guy, is telling them that they found that Cheryl and Jason were killed. They think it was like a jaguar or something. But then Pops gets his head blasted. And they're mortified. They don't know what to do. They're all scrambling out of there. And then Betty and Veronica decide, let's head to Sabrina. She'll know what to do. And when I mentioned about Sabrina's name is in all the weird voodoo books in the library. Betty Cooper, why would you know anything about voodoo? Ask my, just starts showing a flashback. Ask my Archie the Winter Farmer, will you? Kiss him behind the football shed, will you? No reason at all. Yeah, they head out there. Everyone is trying to figure out what's going on.
These chicks are psycho.
They are more so in this one. Now Reggie actually tells Archie, he wants to go find his friends. Reggie says, Archie, no, there's an armed shooter on the loose. Let the police look for the girls. And Kevin's like, Archie, listen to Reggie. I can't believe I'm saying this, the voice of reason. Because Reggie's normally the prankster, the practical joker. You know what I mean? But yeah, eventually they meet up with Sabrina, who has an interesting look here. Wouldn't you say?
So this is Sabrina the Teenage Witch. That shares a
Ooh,
universe with
that
Archie.
is a really good
She
design.
got eaten in the
Very
Sharknado one.
sophisticated looking.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was
She gonna
gonna
die
ask
again?
that back in the Sharknado one.
Yep. Now they made a comment about well, it's really for zombies, but whoever sees zombies in real life, and this Sabrina's a bit more satanic. But the Predator shows up and she dead.
Nice.
And
Bro,
Takes
why
her
they keep
head,
killing
spine,
her?
and all.
well, that's what the Predator does. They rip
Yeah.
up their head as a trophy
No, why do they keep killing Sabrina?
because she's the one who can beat everything and save the day.
Yeah, like she's like the
No, why add her?
Oh, and poor Salem.
for stakes, I guess.
Yeah.
Poor
yeah,
Salem,
yeah,
no,
then-
poor Sabrina. She
Yep, but then
comes
right
in just to get killed.
Yep, of course, right afterwards. Veronica is more worried about getting changed, and, well, she's focusing on the clothes.
As you do.
Yep, but Veronica and Betty got a photo and everything. I love this, it's horrible. We're being hunted by ninjas with terrible hairdos. But we broke the Jaguar's curse. Betty, there's no such thing as a curse. And how do you explain Sabrina's invisible killer, Miss Smarty Pants Lodge? He's a ninja. Why are ninjas fine, but not magic? Because science. But then, you see Veronica starting to change, and then even the Predator takes a notice. Yeah. Oh, and then the dagger heals and repairs itself. They meet up with everything and with everyone, and Kevin's dad is there explaining about what a predator is. And they realize this predator is a teenager, which explains why it's not holding on to the honor of things, because it's basically not really following by the rules. Like, why should I follow by the rules type?
He's either a young blood or a bad blood. I'm not sure which one.
Yeah, one of them. And with a little persuasion from Veronica, Jughead dresses up like her to get, as a decoy. And poor Midge gets killed, and then a car dropped on her and Moose. Everyone else gets joined in, gets blasted. One of Archie's other friends comes up saying, "Hey, Ugly, your mama said it was your birthday, so I got you a present." I'll be honest, that's something right out of Predator, if you ask me.
Yeah.
That's so what one of them would say. Oh, by the way, you want to know who wrote this? Alex the Campy. That's one of the people CG always rags on.
Oh.
I thought the name sounded familiar.
It sounded familiar. I don't know much about him.
Yeah. But yeah, eventually they make their way back to the school. Jughead is saying how it was horrible. It was a complete, disaster. It's like, my friends, Moose and Kevin, Chuck, even Midge. I'm wearing all that's left of them. I'm sorry. I just want this to end. You feel bad for him. Now, and all of the cops in Riverdale, Bo's cars. Yeah, apparently they only have 2 squad cars worth of police. Got turned into goats when the Spellman Sabrina's house disappeared. So some of the girls decide to leave, and they're the lucky ones. They don't die. They actually successfully leave. Jughead decides to get some food, and right after he does, well, so Jughead goes running to go find Jughead and
get him, killer.
No, he was my favorite.
Yeah, poor Jughead. And
Our love of burgers.
I love this from Jughead and from Veronica. Oh, Juggykins, I always said that junk food would kill you, but he didn't actually want you to die. So yeah, Dilton takes them to a small a project he's been working on, an Archie mech. And when he says, "Why Archie?" Dilton says, "Don't you realize, Veronica? Everything is Archie." Like the old song from the old show.
Which I've never seen.
Yep,
No, I've never seen either. But
Everything's Archie. But yeah.
I do appreciate the mech, though.
Yep. And Predator shows up. They put on a bit of a fight starts going on as Dilton's trying to get the hang of everything. Archie gets nicked. He's fine. He's not dead, but
Damn it.
They take it down, and Betty gives Dilton a big hug. And unfortunately, him being awestruck, unfortunately, he gets killed, which leads us into the final issue. Yeah, you're probably realizing who the real stars of this story is, right?
Betty and Veronica.
Yep. And here's something where we find out. The Predator unmasks, and he starts to want to impress him by stripping Dilton's face off. And then eventually...
Wait. The Predator has the hots for...
Well, as you saw in that one bit when she's stripping down, he's like, Right here. Look at that. Even the Predator's like, huh? So yeah, he actually has the liking for them. Oh, and look at this.
What the hell?
Punisher.
Oh, Punisher. Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, basically they're back at the Lodge Manor. They're trying to figure out what to do about that cursed dagger. They take Archie down to this place where they could heal him, but they set it up to 11, even though it says don't do it, which causes Archie to go through some weird bodily transformations. But for some reason, Veronica insists Betty wears that dress, and I love this. Guess who's coming to dinner?
Your mom.
Which leads to a big shootout and everything. Again, they just keep on, they're putting on a pretty valiant fight at all that. Archie then shows up. Turns out it made him buff. And Veronica's like,
he got holed up.
Yep, I think I set the machine too high. It's okay, I forgive you. So yeah, Archie's putting up a good fight, but he's still Archie. He's still a klutz. Veronica seems to get an opening, but then the Predator, just on instinct, stabs her. Archie, again, keeps fighting. Veronica and Betty tries to join in, gets her arm chopped off, and then poor Archie gets, the worst of it.
Yes.
Then the girls take down the Predator. The dagger is gone. The whole place is starting to self-destruct, but they make it back to the safe room. And Veronica wakes up, and we find out Betty's got a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs because she realizes that the machine can actually be utilized to also give plastic surgery or body reconfiguration, and they're doing it to the Predator.
What the
Hurting
fuck?
him and Archie, and even Veronica is mortified.
What the heck?
Seems like a Betty thing to do.
Oh, and in this case, this book also, the miniseries also included other Dark Horse crossovers, like Sabrina meets Hellboy, Little Archie meets The Mask.
Oh, I love the mask.
Jughead meets Mind Management, and Josie and the Pussycats meet The Finder.
What's the Finder?
I have no idea.
Oh.
Yeah, and there's a lot of great covers in this. They really went all out.
Wait, weren't they supposed to do like a Marvel versus Predator thing?
Marvel has the rights now.
Oh.
This was back when Dark Horse had the rights.
Oh.
So what did you think of that one?
Oh boy!
I like that significantly more until that ending, which you couldn't see it, but I was slack-jawed for a bit.
Man, these stories, the art style and the setup seems so unassuming.
But that's why
it
that
feels
works
like
so
there's
well.
real insanity underneath there once you start digging.
But that's what made it work. Keeping it in the in-house style is what sold it.
Mm-hmm.
But then we get into the follow-up, which goes for a more realistic. It's by Robert Hack, who does the artwork for Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. But there's a reason why it goes a bit more realistic. But yeah, basically in the aftermath, Betty and Veronica and Pred Archie, we'll just call him, are wandering around as they're basically finding out everything. There's nothing left. Although the Predator is still acting much like Archie, clutching everything. And we can go down memory lane. Memory lane only works for Archie. He's not really Archie though, but he's like, he's close enough. It'll fool memory lane. But when they make their way there, coming soon from Wade Enterprise, and they've realized we've been canceled. Basically, what the campy's going with is the Betty and Veronica we've been seeing in the Archie vs. Predator is representative of the pre-reboot Archie, as in classic Archie. That explains why they make all the references to the crazy crossovers and insanity they've gone through. And eventually, they decide like, let's head on out. Let's still, what's the worst that can happen? And when they do, they end up in the reboot Archie universe, the one that happened after issue 666. You do know about that? Why Mark Waid came on, rebooted everything?
No.
Raymond,
No.
did you know about that? Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah, he came on board, rebooted everything, made it a bit more modern, but without going for the, hey, like, look, I'm hip. Hey, what's happening, cool kids? And so yeah, we're seeing a different version of Betty with Dilton, and Dilton's found this Predator mask, thinking it's going to be for a Halloween costume. Unfortunately, he's gotten the attention of some other Predators. Classic Archie and Betty and Veronica show up in Riverdale, in this reboot Riverdale, sees all the others, and they're like, what's going on here? The Pred Archie sees the mask and realizes, oh no, as we end the first issue with the Predators are heading to Earth.
Are those the Predator dogs from the Predator movie?
Yep.
There's
Okay.
predator dogs?
Yeah, okay, now the splicing of people and Predators makes more sense now.
Yep. Oh,
It shouldn't, though.
We see reboot Archie with Pred Archie, and Pred Archie's not happy at all. They're trying to explain everything that's been going on with them, and it's just basically a case where we just set up how, oh, this is the new crew, the ones that are replacing them. They show off, that this, Archie's an alien by having him lift a car. Everyone's pretty impressed. But at the same time, all of a sudden, the sky stuff falls apart as he's starting to become more like a predator again. Everyone seems to be chilled and cool with it at first, until, first of all, Pred Archie takes the helmet from Dilton, leaving him bleeding, and they're trying to warn what's going on. Again, it's just a bunch of build-up, setup, and everything throughout all this. I don't want everything to take too long. Oh, but yeah, it's a Halloween party and everything going on. And hold on. Oh yeah, a bunch of them get all blasted and taken out as the Predators show up. You see Moose as He-Man trying to help, gets his head ripped off. Same with poor Dilton. It's basically like, hell has come to the reboot Archie universe.
It's a massacre.
Oh, it pretty much is. You know what I mean? And it's not as off-the-wall zaniness, but I don't think that's what they're going for here. One guy dressed as Groucho Marx gets his head taken off. It's like then it's a massacre. And Betty and Veronica, classic Betty and Veronica, feel like these guys don't deserve any of this. Veronica decides to reboot. Veronica decides to try and get everyone, take their attention while they all run, and she gets killed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, oh, wow. Oh, Jughead's the dog, Hot Dog, gets chomped up by one of the Fred dogs. Archie Predator is putting up a good outfit, but then when the Predators is chasing after classic Betty and Veronica, as they use steam to disguise themselves, and, well, you saved my life, Ronnie. I don't know if I would have saved Archie, though, not like that. But then, it hasn't been about Archie for a long time, has it? No, it hasn't.
What?
Of
Now
course.
Stampy is just pairing the two up. That's where I'm a case where I'm like, you know, I kind of get it, but at the same time, it is shoehorning it in a bit. Wouldn't you guys agree? And wouldn't you three agree?
Yeah.
I do agree with that a lot, especially since I've read an Archie comic, and I'm just like...
Yeah, but again, they're just putting up a valiant effort. They, oh, you actually see, Midge, she's dropped us as the 13th Doctor. She dies as well. Poor Midge. But yeah, Jughead and Reboot Betty get on board the Predator ship, trying to, they deal with some of the Predator dogs. They make their way up into space. Classic Betty and Veronica are trying to contact Mr. Inferno, basically Satan. They've done this before in the classic stuff, so this is nothing new.
Oh boy!
Yep, so they're trying to summon Satan, for help.
Yep.
Which one of them favors us? Cheryl and Jason are being complete and utter like, oh, let's just get out of here. Reggie, being actually not a total monster, he's dressed up as Michael Myers, aside, I know, I'm going to help them all. So he then leaves them in the boiler room and leaves them in there saying, like, you guys are going to be like this? You deserve to burn. Yep. Poor Reboot Archie had his leg broken and everything.
Oh.
And Mr. Inferno shows up as we go into the last issue. And basically, this whole thing, it's been made very clear, is about the classic letting it go in way of the new.
So
basically, classic Betty and Veronica feel like they're going to be replaced, that they're not good enough.
No, but I'm just saying, like, there's old Archie and then there's Reboot Archie, and they all know each other.
That's how they met up in this. No, this is them interacting.
Okay.
APP, Betty and Veronica, they represent classic Archie, and they feel like we've been rebooted. We're being replaced. We weren't good enough.
Okay.
And,
I'm lost. So yeah, continue.
Yeah, but basically one of the Predators makes their way to where Cheryl and Jason are. The rest of the Reboot Archie cast are trying to do what they can. Poor Reggie gets blasted. Then Cheryl gets blasted right at the gas mains. Boom! Every one of Archie Reboot Riverdale is dead.
Yay!
Oh!
Holy shit.
And the only survivor is Pred Archie. And yeah, basically we have, Mr. Inferno sitting down just talking with them and saying like, you still haven't told me what you want. What brought you to all this? Veronica, I wanted to be wanted. Generations of kids grew up on me. I know I'm not good enough anymore. What did I do wrong? Betty, whatever it was, I did it wrong too. Inferno, it happens all the times with you mortals. First, you're the next best thing. Then the fashion changes and leaves you irrevocably behind. So you come crying to me saying change it back? But there's a reason Stop All the Clocks is the first line of a funeral poem. That's not what I mean, isn't it? Oh, actually, yeah. The way I see it, Veronica, you could cling on to your glory years in a vain hope to recreate them. Personally, I find that a bit tragic. Or you can enjoy the fact that you're free. Your actions are no longer limited. We didn't summon here for advice. We summoned you to trade your soul for wishes. I know. What can I say? I like you. So I'm going to offer you a suggestion. Develop opinions on martinis. Get tattoos. moved to New York and wear excellent hats while writing savage little novels of manners in independent coffee shops. Grow up to be whatever and whoever Betty Cooper and Veronica Large and Predator A6718 wants to be. And never worry again about whether you're good enough. Did it work for you? Yes, it did. I'm the hero of my own story. It's only a small one, but it's mine. And basically they ask him like, they didn't ask for this. I'd give my soul to put him back. Oh, that's not necessary. I was already planning on putting him back together and back to normal as it is. He does so. Reboot Dilton never got the helmet. The Predators never show up. And you see classic Betty, Veronica, and the Pred Archie just keeping an eye on the reboot selves in New York, keeping an eye on them through Instagram.
I like that last scene there.
Yeah, it's like, did you miss being an eternal teenager? No, I really don't. So how was that? Not as good as the first one.
No, not even close.
But, and it does feel a little preachy and pretentious, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's basically saying, deal with the reboot. It's the better one. You see, even classic Betty and Veronica are saying it. It just felt like Alex de Camp decided to take the ball, run with it, and put in all of her speaking points into it.
Also, I want to just say that that comic made the cardinal sin of using the freaking upgrade Predators over the original ones. What the fuck?
There's upgraded Predators?
Oh yeah, from The Predator, right?
The Predator, yeah, by freaking, what's his name?
Black something?
Yeah, Shane Black.
Shane Black, yeah.
Yeah, fuck
but
that
now
movie.
We're going to go into what started the Archie Horror line, Afterlife with Archie. Was written by Roberto Aguilar Sacasa and artwork by Francesco Francavilla, who you might also know in his work with Scott Snyder on Batman. But yeah, it opens up with Sabrina showing up as Archie, and Jughead is holding poor Hot Dog who got hit by a car.
Oh my gosh.
He's asking him to help. They can't do anything. He's dying. Sabrina's aunts tell him, make your peace and bury him. And so, with a little guilt trip saying, like, I know how much you loved him. Yeah, as much as you love Salem. She takes the Necronomicon and brings it with Jughead to a cemetery, trying to raise him. It doesn't seem to work, so they like bury him and let's move on. And well, unfortunately, she did something wrong as her aunts show their true form and take her away. Now, I should point out, in this version of Betty and Veronica, they are bitches to each other, more so than you saw in that one. They are vicious to each other in this one.
Oh no, I was about to say that Sabrina got freaking removed immediately again.
But, well, this was the first time that happened, but she's not gone entirely. In fact, it turns out the whole zombie thing isn't what the spell she casted caused. It was just a side effect.
Okay,
but
continue.
We'll get to that. Yeah, we're seeing, Archie, the typical Archie, Betty, Veronica stuff going on. But we find out Reggie is the one that hit Hot Dog. He hasn't told anyone yet, though. And eventually, Hot Dog shows up, a bit messed up.
Dog!
As he bites Jughead. You then see that Jughead's getting a bit sick. Archie, is trying to help his friend out, and everything. Warns him, don't bother Hot Dog. They go to the party, and eventually, Jughead, wakes up. He's a zombie now. His parents are dead, obviously. Oh, we see Veronica as a vampirella, and Betty as a nurse. And it's like, what happened to Sexy Witch? And Witch? Nothing happened. Veronica just simply decided to embrace her inner bloodsucker. And yeah, basically, it's like Nurse Betty or Florence Nightinghag. For a creature that's supposed to be ageless, Veronica, you're incredibly ancient. Yeah, these two are vicious at each other.
Damn.
Poor Willoughby and Grundy get taken out by Archie and by Jughead. Again, I like how Reggie, he just feels so awful about what happens. He's even trying to tell Archie that basically he made a hit on Midge. Moose roughed him up. He wasn't thinking straight, and bam! And then there's zombie Jughead.
Ooh, I like that. Who did the art for this book?
Francesco Francavilla.
That's really cool looking.
Yep, he's the one who worked with alongside Jock on Scott Snyder's Black Mirror, Batman Black Mirror. Ring any bells?
I haven't read it.
Wait, I thought Black Mirror was a show.
No, it was. I'm talking about the it was a run. It was an arc that Snyder did. But anyway, next issue.
I thought that was somewhere. I just haven't read it yet.
Yeah, but next issue, people are getting eaten. We have Cheryl and Jason coming in as Raggedy Ann and Andy, and yes, there's some twin cest implications.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yeah. We cut a little bit ahead as Veronica's explaining everything at Large Mansion. Poor Ethel, who's had a liking for Jughead. Now this is the most normal she looks. Normally she looks a little bit like well, hold on. Let me show you what she's looked like before. Hold on. Normally Ethel looks like hold on. Is there a good image of her here? The middle one.
Huh.
Yeah, big piece and everything. But here, like I said, she looks more cuter. But unfortunately, chomp, and look at that image. That's great imagery, isn't
That's
it?
good.
That is really cool looking. I like that.
Meanwhile, Pops is, we find out that two of Archie and the usual cast, Nancy and I forget what the other girl's name is, Ginger, are secretly lesbians. And unfortunately, poor the guy who took the pin out and everything, you know, in the Archie vs. Predator one. I'm just forgetting his name right now. But yeah, he was dating Nancy, and well, he's getting cucked. Yeah, a lot of people did not like that. Even when this came out, people did not like that. It's like, because that's the whole point. The black guy's there to get cucked. But yeah, we basically find out more about what happened there. You know, they try to hold back Jughead. Poor Ethel, and comes to life and everything. And things just start to get more and more out of hand. As they try to lock him in there. Again, they're just trying to figure out what to do to get out of there. That's throughout this whole opening arc. It's basically them escaping from Riverdale. Now they think they're going to stay at Lodge Manor, but apparently someone's already been infected. The big question is, who? And hold on. Oh yeah, it turns out also back in the early days of Riverdale, things weren't doing so well. So eventually, in this universe, they made a deal with Sabrina's aunts to sacrifice some of the children so that Riverdale could prosper. Yeah.
Wow, they're into some real dark shit, aren't they?
Yep. Basically, they're trying to. Everyone feels calm and cool and collected. They feel like, oh, things are going well here. Betty and Veronica are basically trying to, keep their heads collected, as we see some of them are in the pool just chilling out. And it turns out it was Midge who got scratched right in the hand. And she decides, before we tell anyone, I'm fine. So she just cuddles up with Moose. We see Archie had made his way out and finds Pop's places burning. Turns out earlier Nancy and Ginger had set the whole place ablaze just to take care of the bodies. And turns out, Moose and Midge both turned. We see the mayor has been turned as well. Archie's trying to find anyone else out there. Realizing that, Moose and Midge have been turned, Mr. Lodge orders them to get out of there as they basically seal them in the pool with this metal, covering. Archie finds Hot Dog, and that's where this issue ends, as he's being confronted by that. Again, this is a horror, isn't it? This is horror.
Yeah!
Yeah,
I guess it works so damn well just because it has that shiny and pretty exterior. Looks unassuming on the outside, then you dig underneath it, just ooh! Ooh.
We find out how Archie got his dog Vegas. As they're taking care of him and everything. We then see this part made me cry. I should point out. We see Hot Dog's ready to attack him. Vegas jumps out the window and he's like, "Archie Master, protect!" That's what he's like, "Archie Master." And then we see Archie remembering like when he's sick, his dad tells him, "He'll be all right, son. His tummy's upset. That's all." And this is how it works. You take care of Vegas when he's sick or needs help, and he'll do the same thing for you without even thinking about it. He's like, "Run, Archie Master, run! My life for yours. Live, Archie Master. Thank you, love you, forever. But now run,
Aww,
live."
that's sad.
First time I read that, I cried. But yeah, Archie makes it up to where his mom is, and his dad has turned.
Cool.
Yep, we see stuff with Cheryl and Jason, but it's implying that Jason is more the abuser in this.
That's different.
Yeah. But yeah, Archie just starts wailing on his dad, knocking him down. All the while, he's having all these memories of the good times with him and his dad, showing him how to shave, everything, as she's just wailing on him, saying,
Good God.
I'm so sorry, Dad. I love you. But yeah, he helps his mom out, but then poor Vegas, kill, maim, eat food. Oh no. As they hurry up, they make it to his old jalopy, which normally doesn't work. But for once, it actually started up, and yeah, Archie is a mess. Like, I'm not gonna let you die, Mom. I swear. I'm not gonna let anyone else die ever again. Unfortunately, then, is the siege net on Lodge Manor. Yeah, as we see about the birth of Veronica, who unfortunately her mother passed away not long afterwards. Everyone seems to be calm, a bit chilled, and all that. Chuck was the guy's name. And yeah, he's talking with Nancy, and you can still tell there's something going on, but of course he's not in the know. See what I mean about him getting cucked? The whole point of the black guy being there is to be cucked so that his girlfriend could be in a lesbian relationship. Yeah, there's a reason why even those who were in the LGBTQ were like, okay, come on, really? But yeah, but we also find out that Reggie, though, as bad as he's feeling about everything, he's an asshole. He basically, when Kevin, remember, is gay, is trying to comfort him, he says, "Back the hell off, Keeler. Get your sick, nasty hands off me. Never do that to me again, ever. You hear me, perv?" And Kevin decks him.
Good.
Yeah. Now we see Archie is, just letting, upset, crying to Betty, saying, "I killed him." And basically it's showing that Betty is the one for him in this one, and Veronica just doesn't know how to take it. She just feels so upset. But throughout all this, throughout so much of this, she's been focusing on herself in a lot of the narrations. This Veronica is more self-centered. Oh, and for a brief moment...
More self-centered, oh.
Yep, and for a moment, Reggie almost lets Midge out, but Dilton stops him. But it turns out the rest are there, and they're starting to bang their way through. So they realize it's not safe there anymore. We need to get out of here. So, we also see Betty's parents are been infected too. Everyone is. They soon make their way out of there using fireworks to distract everyone. With that going on, they take off. You see Cheryl Cheryl and Kevin are, using bow and arrows, and I like it. Call it next time, Ginger Spice. You call it Queen Arrow. As they make their way out of there, them leaving Riverdale as it burns. But next, You want to know what happened to Sabrina?
Yeah. What happened to Sabrina?
She dies, obviously.
Nope. She's being meeting up with a
Blasphemy.
Mr. Lovecraft, who is being her psychiatrist.
Wait, HP Lovecraft?
Yep. And basically, we see her go throughout all of this weird crap going on, and I'll just cut to the chase. We find out that, like I said, what she summoned wasn't the zombies. It turns out she awoke Cthulhu. And now, as her punishment, she must be the bride of Cthulhu.
Oh no!
Okay. Of course. Why not?
Or Sabrina, right?
I can't tell
She
if that's
just
worse
always
than
gets
death.
the short end of the stick in these comics.
Yeah, but that one, I mean, yikes, right?
Yeah, no, I think that's just spawned off a whole new genre of nightmare.
Yep. Basically, then next issue, most of these issues then is just getting coming to grips with everything after leaving Riverdale, mourning those they've lost and all that. All of a sudden, then some of them show up, showing how smarter they are as they get away again. Basically, every time they take a break, they eventually start running again. We get some stuff going on between what was going on with Cheryl and Jason and everything. We get some implications on that. Oh yeah, just some more bitchiness between Veronica and Betty. And eventually then Jason is dead. Whether or not, we don't know if Cheryl did it or if a zombie did it, or if she let the zombie do it. We don't know, but they think that she murdered her brother, but again, we don't know. Next, we then see Archie talking with the spirit of Jughead. Just having a nice talk, and yes, right out of The Shining. But yeah, basically throughout all of this, again, it's just everyone just coming to grips with anything. They decide, does Cheryl stay? And eventually they decide, yeah, with Jason, Kevin being the last one to decide, and they agree. They feel like it's fine. And again, I like this. It's showing that it's his body that's evil, not Jughead. Just stuff like this. Archie's just trying to talk his way through and everything. And then, hold on. Sorry, I feel like I'm about to sneeze. No, never mind, I'm fine. But yeah, it's around Christmas time, I should point out. We also find out that Jughead is able to take his sister Jellybean off to the afterlife. Yeah, she got killed as well. And then Archie proposes to Betty. But she says, of course I'm marrying you, but not until my 18th birthday. 3 months away? Not a problem. But then we deal stuff with Reggie. And I should point out, this whole arc is called Betty R.I.P.
Of course. Foreshadowing.
Yeah, but yeah, we basically see, again, just some stuff, again, it sets up all the characterization between Reggie and Archie and how he's been feeling about all the stuff going on. And then he finally explains everything to Kevin about what happened that night. Just, them just, they're talking. Midge says, I need $500. What kind of, Midge, what kind of, what do you think, genius? Actually, it's probably not what you're thinking. It may be nothing. I may be stressed out. It's basically, now you're supposed to wonder if she's, I think they're trying to imply that she wants an abortion, like she might be pregnant and she's afraid of that. I think that's the implication. You know what I mean? Because he says, like, have you talked to Moose about whatever this is? No, and I'm not going to. He doesn't have any money, and I don't want him to do it, since it's none of his business, since it has nothing to do with him. Yikes. You know, I mean, he says, like, you probably have $500 stacked away, and he's saying, I'll help you. And that leads to Moose being completely confused with not knowing what's going on, leads to them scuffling, what happened, and then Kevin chews out saying, you're the cause of all this, and Reggie is suicidal. He is completely suicidal. he even says like he feels horrible about it. He's basically having this moment of brevity, you know what I mean, or levity. You know, his mind just feels this way. He even says like, "Hey, go ahead and do it. I deserve it." And yeah, Archie feels bad. He's like, "No, if this is what he wants, it's what he wants." And basically, Reggie soon catches up with the zombies. He's ready to sacrifice himself. And then Sabrina shows up, now the bride of Cthulhu, and basically saying how, kill Betty and we will restore Midge for you. And he basically he basically says, kill Betty? Sure, why not? Then the last issue that's been out so far is a side story dealing with the Josie and the Pussycats. As we find out that, long story short, they're vampires. That's what they are in this one. They are vampires that basically got bitten. Two of the other ones also, the other two got joined up. One of the original Pussycats ended up leaving the band before it all happened. Also, turns out they were the cause of the Manson murders.
What?
I'm not kidding on that one.
What?
Yeah, they're the cause of the Manson murders. Also, during all their tours, they would kill the stuff like, the KKK, neo-Nazis, everything to satiate themselves. They're telling all of this to a reporter, I should point out. That old Pussycat member shows up saying, turn me. But they're like, if we did, you'll be in constant pain. It won't fix anything. So Josie puts her out of her misery. And in the end, it turns out the reason why he told him all that, they're going to kill him. As they then start heading towards Riverdale. Yeah, and that's the last issue of Afterlife with Archie that's been out.
Damn.
Are they continuing this storyline?
Again, it falls under when it's done. I mean, no one thought a new issue of Chilling Adventures of Sabrina would come out, but one finally did.
But they haven't officially canceled anything.
It's not a cancel at all.
Okay, so
as long as Roberto Guerrero-Sacasa is still working there, it won't be. It's in a case where he's been working on all the different TV shows and all that. But yeah, Chilling Adventures is basically set, the same guy who did the AVP2 artwork. This is basically a what if, it's set in 1951 instead. Or, the early years and everything. And I'm not going to go too much into this because this one's more of its own story type thing that's kind of hard to describe. It's more complicated. You know what I mean? But basically, she was born, like in everything, Sabrina was born between a human and a witch, and all that. And basically, she's trying to have a normal life, but knowing that she's destined for great things. In this version, we do have Betty and Veronica here, who seem to know a little bit about magic, not too much. And they end up summoning an old Archie character that did exist named Madam Satan.
What?
That's an actual old school Archie character.
Is that some Mexican influence on there?
A little, but that actually was part of the character's original design with the skull eyes.
Nice.
Basically, again, this is under the Archie Horror line. It's what if Sabrina's witch side was fully embraced? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can show you all these ones, but I think the best way I can just describe it too, because I don't remember exactly which issues are which. But basically, throughout all this, Sabrina's love interest, what was his name? Harvey, by the end of this opening arc, gets killed. Oh, Carrie reference. He gets killed at some point, and through some other magic being done, he seems to be resurrected, but with the spirit of Sabrina's dad in him. Yeah, twisted stuff like that. Meanwhile, Madam Satan is trying to do something. Again, so all this is so much slow build-up without much explanations. You know what I'm saying? That's the big downside. I think that's the one thing I would feel is a bit of a downside for this, is that they have all this stuff going on. It's been constantly building up to this big witch war. And like I said, they finally did a new issue recently, and it's basically considered a more dark reimagining more than it is an actual, horror line. I mean, it's not a bad one. It inspired the TV show and everything. Yeah. Now again, I'm not going into details on that one or too much on this one because they're good. They're really good, but that one is like, I can't summarize it enough to do it justice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's more of an experience for yourself.
It's a slow burn. It's a slow burn. But with this one, I'm more liking this for the artwork. It just, you don't really care. I don't really care that much about the characters and everything. You know what I'm saying? But Laura Braga's artwork, it's a bit weird in places, but the girls she draws, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really cool looking.
But basically, yeah, the whole notion is that they are the Antichrist, and but it turns out they have another sibling as well. So actually, they weren't twins; they were triplets. And by the end of it all, they kill him and everything. But he seems to come back. So again, it basically ends on a cliffhanger that has never gotten resolved, nor do I think will ever be resolved. But yeah, basically it's all notion of like, who do we sacrifice and everything. And yeah, by the end of it all, it ends without an answer. You know what I mean? So it's like, what was the point? But this is one of the ones I don't recommend. Again, except for the artwork.
Well, I definitely, of everything you've shown us so far, I definitely want to read that Archie versus Predator, the first one at least.
Well, I'm not done.
You're not done yet?
Nope.
Damn, how many of these are there?
Well.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Jughead.
The Hunger and Veronica.
The werewolf thing. I forgot all about that.
This one opens up with poor Miss Grundy getting killed off.
Damn.
Yeah. But then we find, basically first you think something horrific's going on. It kind of is. Jughead eating. He's eating so much that at this all-you-can-eat place that the owner is saying, like, I'll give you anything. Blank check. Right an amount you think of is fair. Or if money's not a thing, my daughter's car. It's brand new and sitting in the parking lot, ready to go. Hey! And he just asked for, like, what do you got for dessert? And I love Veronica. Like, while they were handing you that blank check, I almost wrote them one myself. I felt so bad. Reggie rightfully chews them out, and Jughead's a bit of an ass at this moment, basically saying, like, here are some other words that describe what it's like to go out to eat with you. Inhuman, embarrassing, just plain vomit-inducing. Oh, so I get it now, Reggie. It's like how the rest of us feel whenever we're with you. Damn! But then they find out about Miss Grundy's death, and they find out, Pops has died as well, Essel, and apparently Jughead's cousin, Bingo. And basically they're telling you, like, there's a curfew, you should head on home. And Jughead eventually meets up with Dilton, who just keeps rambling and rambling until, well, you can probably guess what's about to happen as we get a new victim. Poor Dilton.
Dilton and Sabrina.
Yep. But now, actually, Sabrina never appears in this.
Finally!
So,
Woohoo!
Hold on 1 second. But yeah, this time Jughead wakes up and he knows now what happened. It seems like the other cases he didn't, and and it turns out Archie saw what happened and he's confused about what to make about it. But then we see Betty showing up looking different, very different, and he's like, give me a moment to be cool, and unfortunately, she beats the crap out of him. Sweet
Damn.
Betty, and then she pulls a gun on him. Basically saying how this is, I've been thinking about this longer than you could imagine. But Archie talks her down, and basically she explains how the Joneses have been lichens for a long time, and all the Coopers go around and waiting for them to turn, ready to kill them, and including her. Of course, then Archie asks, "So you've known Jug's been a werewolf all this time, waiting for him to turn. Is that why you became friends with us in the first place?" "Well, yeah, sort of. To be honest, I need to keep tabs on Jughead. And what better way to do that than with a cover as a peppy, lovesick teenager? No offense, Arch. I'd like to say no offense taken. I'd really like to say that. Is any part of you real?" And basically she says, like, I got involved, obviously doesn't matter. I care about you and Jughead. 1 second. Hello? Don't you hate those type of calls?
Was it a telemarketer?
Yeah. Anyway,
We would like
so
to
they
talk to you
decided-
about your car's extended warranty.
So they decided to try Wolf's Bane out, and well, we actually see how the transformation occurs.
Yeah, oh, that's amazing.
That's so cool looking.
Yep, they put up a pretty good fight, but he starts to overwhelm him until he reverts back to normal. Then months go by, seem to be fine until they go to Reggie's house, and at the same time, Jughead's leaving because Reggie got mauled. And yeah, he was as good as dead. Now this was a one-shot, but eventually it led into an ongoing. It was a same writer, but different art team. So, yeah, we see and Betty and Archie had left Reggie at the hospital, see if there was anything they could do for him, but they seemed to lose him. But as you know how it is with werewolves, it passes on and he changes. Oh boy. We then find out that Jughead had gone over to this traveling circus. It seems to be staying with them, finding a liking with this one girl, named Abby. And basically, he's just trying to get away from everything. She even tells, like, everyone's getting away from something. That's part of the way when people join the circus, is to get away. And it turns out he's been using chains to keep himself, tied up so he doesn't hurt anyone. And we also find out about, very bitchy Betty. Again, she's nothing like she is in any other version. It's basically, like telling, Archie about what's going on and everything and all that. And Archie, he's just trying to make sense out of it all. We find some more Coopers are there, wanting to teach Archie how to fend for himself. Then Jughead wakes up. All the lions are there, terrified of him, blood on his hand, and poor Abby just mauled. But it turns out someone let him out. Someone released him. And we also end with Veronica getting confronted by Reggie. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, indeed.
Well, what do you think of the artwork on this one?
Can I see that last page again?
Hold on.
I mean, it's good. I think I like that one shot better though.
Yeah, and eventually it ends up becoming a case where they have two different artists juggling it. Yep. Where you would have the first half always by Pat and Tim Kennedy, and the second half was Joe and Isma. But yeah, we then open up with Mr. Willoughby mourning over Miss Grundy's death. Reggie shows up, transforms right in front of him, and when he runs off, they catch up with Veronica, who has clearly been turned by Reggie. And basically it's just taunting her, say like, all that running, and yet it's still here we are. The ending never really in doubt. As we then see Archie's doing pretty good learning, to training from the Coopers. But again, he's just questioning everything. The Coopers are acting like, no, this is how it is. And Archie's just like, really? Even for my friend Jughead? Jughead tries to get some food at a convenience store. Owner spots him, does a silent alarm. Everyone is just catching up. They go to the circus, find out about what happened. They say, hey, we want in. And Betty's saying, sure, join in with us. Oh, and then we bought the store owner. Look what happens to him. Ugh, right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I was like, hey, will someone get this guy off me? I'm tasting his freaking intestines here. But yeah, it turns out, yeah, one of the werewolves catches up to him, and it's his cousin Bingo. Turns out he ain't dead, he alive. As we're finding out that turns out he faked his death and everything, and he wants to show Jughead what it's like to be a werewolf, that he should just embrace it. And basically, yeah, like I said, he faked his old death, and Jughead is just not liking it. He's just like, do you realize, and here's how he puts it, like, a murderer. Some of those people were my friends, damn it. People is the key word there. We're not people, cuz we're something else, different, better. Did anybody actually like, do you mourn the cow after eating all the hamburgers you like so much? Of course you don't, because they're food. And eventually you'll see what we're having right now. That's all this is, a conversation about food. Yikes.
Thank you, cows, for feeding me.
But then, just make a point. Turns out other werewolves can trigger the change, and look at this version of it.
Oh, damn.
Whoa.
That is striking.
Now this is where the artwork, I think, picks up, and where it shines. But yeah, basically we find out that one of the leaders of the Cooper family, she's been maimed and everything by some of the other Joneses. We see the circus goes after Jughead and Bingo. Yeah, it doesn't go well, obviously. Because werewolves, incredible healing factor. The Archie, Betty, and her cousin show up to try and deal with them, and Archie even gets in a few shooting at Jughead, but he's mortified by what he did. They get away and everything, and the pack's showing up to help. And then we find out Veronica, Willoughby, Moose, and Cheryl are all been turned by Reggie. The reasons, he made Archie and Veronica, he made Archie and Betty leave me behind. And Veronica Lodge does not get left behind. Willoughby, he killed Grundy. Moose, he killed my little buddy Dilton. Cheryl, me, I just didn't want to be left out. That's a reason, isn't it? Sure, why not? Reasons don't matter, as they all have transformed. Yeah. Things are really just getting out of control, aren't they? Actually, to be fair, that's changing part of the Archie Horror. It's called Archie Madhouse. And that's what it is, isn't it?
Probably.
It looks to be. I mean, everyone's lost their fucking minds.
Yep, it's a madhouse. And the next issue is called Party Like It's 1988. It's just flashbacks on the leader of the Cooper family, how she actually fell in love with one of the Joneses once, and eventually it cost her dearly, but not right away. Again, it's just explaining about a lot of the characters and all that. And eventually, when she found out that he was a werewolf, and she tells him to run. He says, "Fugitive life is not for me," and she then decides, like, "You broke my heart. Now I'm taking your heart."
Oh.
Basically tells that's how crazy the Coopers
Damn.
are. Yeah. And yeah, that's where that is. And then eventually Jughead makes his way back to Riverdale. Even so, welcome home, Jughead Jones. As we see him asleep. Some other werewolves are there, ready to basically this was earlier where they wanted to take him, but then decided, nah, not yet. Hold on. We see Mr. Weatherby, not knowing the truth about her yet, meeting up with Jughead's little mom and little sister Jellybean, and then they're missing. When Jughead makes it back home, poor hot dog's been.
No.
Damn.
And who did it?
Me. I'm just kidding.
No. Well, before we find out who did it, Archie again is just trying to talk about saying how, like, I mean, remember what life used to be when all we had to worry about were trips to Pops and who we're going was to the school dance, or whether or not Reggie was going to be an ass that day? Now I may have to kill my best friend. To which Betty's just like, hey, you don't think I want to go back to that arch, to how things used to be? Honestly, Betty, no, I really don't think you do. I think on some level you like this, running around like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, killing werewolves, and being all badass. I don't think the sweet girl I knew back in Riverdale was ever the real you. This is the real you. It's not the real me. Look me up if you ever find yourself back in Riverdale, Bets. Good luck. I feel bad for Archie here, don't you?
Damn, yeah, that's a lot.
Oh, but yeah, it turns out it was Veronica who did it.
What?
Yep, and
Damn.
she changes, and she is just like, I'm always one to keep up appearances, Juggy, but I'm afraid your mutt just didn't give me much of a choice. By the way, I'm a werewolf too now, in case you haven't figured that out. And yeah, they've abducted poor Jellybead. Which then eventually, we turned out she's trying to get her way out, causing herself to, as blood is trickling down. Turns out, yeah, they left her something to eat. The mailman.
Jesus
Yeah.
It's
Christ.
always the mailman.
Ah.
It's your ass, Mr. Postman.
Yep. Yeah, Archie's parents chew him out about, like, where have you been? Hard to explain.
None of your business.
Yep. Meet up with Jughead, who, they're basically saying, like, they're trying to make good out of all of this. And, it's like, we're still buddies. He's not being evil. He just wants to control it. But then after they explain, what happened, with Reggie and the others, he's come back to get his sister. They contact Betty, and unfortunately though, once she sees Jughead, she tosses him around, beats the shit out of him. But tells him, I love it. It's like, I'm gonna calmly open up his throat. Go ahead. What? Make that a double one and add a hell due to it. I love that.
Yes.
Make that a double one and add the hell due to it. No, I'm serious. You know why he's here, Betty? His sister's been kidnapped by Reggie and Veronica. Yeah, that's right. Our Reggie and Veronica, who, and this should really get your attention by the way, are also werewolves now. But hey, go ahead, kill him now. A friend of yours who's coming to us for help because he has nowhere else to turn. And oh yeah, a totally innocent girl's life is at stake. But why the hell should that matter anymore? You want to prove to me you're not a fake, that we do mean something to you and we're not just part of some crazy ass mission? Well, here's your chance to prove it. Damn it. I'm sorry about Jenny Bean, but I can't help you. I just can't. But it does prove that she does care. But yeah, they basically make their way there. Fight's about to start off, and we see Moose turns into a werewolf too. But then he finds this little ball that zaps him into pieces. And it turns out, the other Coopers are showing up ready for Jughead.
No.
Again, this is crazy, isn't it?
It really is.
Great, the werewolf genocide begins.
Nah, not as much as you think. But yeah, we basically find out that, Reggie and the others have been busy. Very much busy. As, again, they're just taunting poor Jughead around, and his healing factor makes it that they can just hurt him and keep him alive. Yeah, but then Betty shows up, and, the two are ready, Betty and Veronica are about ready to tussle down. As, everyone is taunting Jughead, blaming him for everything, because, a lot of it is his fault, to be honest. And basically then you have a point where Veronica has a hand on Archie, threatening him. Betty's holding the gun and saying, "Ha, you risk shooting your little precious little Archie? Oh, please don't don't do that. Please don't encourage her." And I knew it. I knew she'd shoot anyway. stumbles right into Betty, and Veronica gets away. You see then a bunch of the other people in town showing up, and they seem to gun down Reggie, and Jughead is there. Time to take. Jelly Bean shows up, and basically think we got another werewolf. They don't know that about her yet. And the guy's name is Dutch. And who does he look a little like?
Schwarzenegger.
Yep. Basically didn't say though.
I wouldn't have gotten that.
Yep. Not letting you kill the kid. Not one that hasn't turned yet. That may never turn since when are we doing? That may never turn. Since when are we doing that? And basically saying like, okay, keep an eye on her, but if she changes, you better deal with it. And well, just to stick it to everyone, they decide to put all the blame on the Riverdale Ripper on Veronica and Reggie. It's like, well, what better? How else can Jughead get back to a normal life? And they have become monsters, so they deserve it. But it turns out then that night with Jelly Bean, turns out she has turned.
Huh.
Oh boy, after all of that. Basically then the next issue just a bunch more filling in the blanks about the history of the Joneses and all that. And Betty first showed up there and everything. Basically just established a lot of that. Hold on. It turns out Mr. Lodge's wife, Veronica's mother, got killed by a werewolf. Well, more like the cause of it, he had to get out of the car and she drowned. And then next, Jughead versus Frankenmoose.
But wait, wasn't Moose another werewolf?
We'll get to that.
What?
We'll get to it.
Okay.
Jughead has a bit of a nightmare as he's, putting Hot Dog to rest, and but then becomes a nightmare as everyone's pointing at him, saying Riverdale Ripper, and all that. They're trying to get back to their lives. They're really trying to, but it's obviously very hard because they know what's been going on and all that. They find out Hot Dog's body's been dug up. They're following this mysteriously hooded figure, and Betty gets abducted. We find out that Jughead's been chaining himself up every night so he doesn't hurt anyone.
Really? Chains work?
Yeah. And we find out what seems to be Dilton. We don't know how at first. And Betty headbutts him, and we find out Moose is alive, stitched back together like a Frankenstein monster. Oh, and it turns out it's not Dilton. It's his cousin Milton.
Of course, Milton.
Yep, a similar looking cousin. Moose. Midge is trying to move on. Moose shows up, attacks everything, and of course, much like women around the Frankenstein monster, just runs away. Oh yeah, throw that guy, sends him flying.
Damn.
Yep. Jughead is trying to sniff around using his smell, putting his werewolf abilities to good use. And it turns out the person that's been in the hood actually is Dilton. Yeah, it turns out he's not back together properly. But because Moose with a werewolf, it actually makes Milton's Resurrection Lazarus project much more feasible. We get then now Moose catches up with Midge, but seems to calm down, and she's realizing like it's Moose, it's him. But then we lead to Milton bringing Moose in so we can have the fight happen. Oh boy! Oh, look at this cover.
That's
That's
pretty cool.
So, what do you guys think about this so far?
It's
I
pretty
feel fun.
neat.
Sorry.
It's pretty neat.
Yep. Now, obviously, you can realize Milton. He's Reanimator.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah, he is.
And he even looks like him, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has the look and everything.
Yeah, basically reveals that how, yeah, like you said, they put back Moose back together and all that, and yeah, we have a bit of a fight going on. It's not meant to be much of a fight, but then once they start explaining everything, one thing, even Midge is like, it's Moose, look at him, he's calmed down. Explains that how, the Lazarus elements of the werewolf blood, and Jughead asks, like, how much do you need to bring them all back properly? All of it. Archie feels like, how about I take all of your blood instead? I mean, do we honestly think we're actually going to fall for this? And Jughead's ready to go with it. Betty's willing to agree to think, hey, it's Jughead's choice. Their lives are not our responsibility. So what does Archie do? He decides to be an idiot, shoots everything, be like, well, if I'm going to be the only smart one here, ends up releasing everyone. All the failed experiments. They all get out of there and everything. And turns out Milton put the hot dog back together. We see then Moose and Midge and Milton and Dilton are driving off, and it turns out they've been funded by Mr. Lodge. Yep. And the last two issues of the main ongoing involve F.P. Jones as Jughead's dad showing up. He's heading back to Riverdale. As they also find out that Cousin Bingo has shown up. They want Jelly Bean. They know she's turned. And even said, like, I'm not saying I'm here for you and all that. Basically, things start to build up as, Bingo's coming for Jelly Bean, which leads to a big confrontation in what ends up being the final issue. I'll explain why. It wasn't due to sales, it's due to something else. As, basically, Jughead turns, they make their way back to his house, find out that Jelly Bean is turned, they're trying to explain everything to her, and she decides, I'm going with Cousin Bingo. It's my heritage. Jughead's trying to say, like, no, you don't have to. Unfortunately, she does leave. We find out that the head of the Cooper family has been involved with Mr. Lodge. They meet up, and Jelly Bean meets up with her dad, and then turns out what makes her realize she made a mistake, her dad embraces Reggie, Willoughby, and Veronica, despite what they did to her. She's saying, like, but Dad, Reggie, Veronica, Weatherby are packed now, which means we're all family now. And look at that look on her face. She made a mistake.
Damn!
She realized, I made a mistake. Next is Vampironica. What's funny about this is, this was originally self-contained. Because it opens up, now I'll be honest, the artwork here I both like and yet have some issues with. It's by Greg Smallwood, and it's good, but a little off. I think it's the coloring more than anything else. But look, yeah, it opens up with Veronica being a bit of a badass, fighting off these two vampires before coming out of the water saying, hey Cheryl, cool party. And now you see what I mean? See what I mean here? Doesn't it look a little off?
Yeah,
I think
I
Archie
agree.
looks a little off. Yeah, sorry.
I think they went a little bit too hard at trying to be realistic. They should just kind of lean more into being, well, cartoony.
Yep. Well, first, it's typical Archie, Betty, Veronica, Reggie stuff. But then when she goes downstairs, her parents seem to have been attacked by vampires. As it turns out the person that was a client of her father is there, bites her, she makes a run for it, drives off, crashes, and it turns out can't catch a break, slams right into Reggie's car, knocking him out. She almost wants to bite him. Oh boy. She leaves, leaving poor Reggie to be turned by that vampire. Oh boy. And what is the first thing Veronica does? Well, first she goes to Archie, who turns out is with Betty that night. So she leaves there after kicking a trash can. She goes to the school where she's found by Dilton, who is she's starting to get woozy. And I love this. You sure you're okay, Veronica? You don't look so hot. That's the first time I've ever heard that for Kunk. I love that, like, you don't look so hot. That's the first time I've ever heard that before. Basically, Veronica has a nightmare of her being more of a monstrous vampire and all that, as her friends are taunting her. Yeah, what a whacked out nightmare. She wakes up having some blood dripped in by her as Dilton is trying to help out, saying, I know what you are. Promise you won't suck my blood. She breaks out easily and he gives her some pig's blood. And basically, yeah, he's willing to help her out. And now, with what I say about the artwork, I do like this bit here with Veronica. Doesn't she look adorable?
Yeah.
But yeah, basically they go to Dilton's house. They're trying to figure out what to do. And basically the whole idea of the Strogi and the Strigoi, the living vampires. Basically, you take them out. Anyone they bit will turn back to normal. And, oh boy, we see Reggie's been also spreading the vampire plague.
Reggie spreads a lot of things, apparently.
Yep. Oh, I love this look for Veronica, don't you?
Yeah, I think it's great.
Buffy-like, but pretty badass. But yeah, she makes her way in, trying to find where this vampire is, this head vampire is. At the same time, Archie shows up, and well, the lodges are ready to have him be feasted on by the head, the vampire. Dilton shows up with a bang and shoots a stake at the guy. Man, Dilton's a badass in this one. A bit of a fight going on, and they actually do get a hit in thanks to Archie, stabbing the guy. They run out. The guy, the seemingly head vampire is still up and at him. We see they explain everything to Archie. They try to figure out a plan, and they realize they can go to Cheryl's party. And after saving Veronica from and Betty from a vampire, Veronica shows up, and I love this. Hey, girl, I can tell from your face that what you're thinking. And yes, it is a new look. Thanks for noticing. Which leads into the opening from issue 1. Then it leads into everyone trying to figure stuff out. They actually got some guns full with holy water and everything. After helping everyone out, Cheryl and Veronica argue. More vampires are starting to come about. Poor Moose got turned. Moose can never catch a break. The reason why and Jughead survives, he has garlic breath. Yep. Of course, Midge and Nancy got turned as well, obviously. And yeah, basically they're all surrounded by a bunch of the vampires. But they eventually, it turns out Dilton got a bunch of holy water, pulled it into the pool, and I love how they put crosses in the water to signify it. They take out one of, and the seemingly head vampire, but because Veronica is still a vampire, it's not, he wasn't the head. Then they realize what she saw in the basement was the head vampire. So she heads her way there, and, well, that vampire causes hallucinations. Giant spider. While everyone is
fantastic.
Yep. And while she's dealing with that, everyone goes into the pool so they can't be grabbed. They're trying to do everything they can to keep everyone off of them. When she, while going through it, Veronica keeps getting hallucinations like it's Betty is marrying Archie, and first she feels like this isn't real. Excuse me? I'm so happy for you. And it turns out it's because she's defeating the illusion, attacks her. Again, everything seems to be building up. She makes her way to the basement, opens it up, finds what seems to be her, but she says, you know how I know you're not real? Because I wouldn't be caught dead wearing that. Stabs her. The vampire.
That's great.
He's dead. Everything seems to be going back to normal. Everyone that was a vampire seems to be turned back. And you wouldn't believe the night I had, as it seems to be the end. Now, see what I mean? This feels self-contained until we get to the crossover.
Okay, so unfortunately, I'm actually gonna have to leave.
Aw, so what were you even thinking so far, Bianca?
I'm gonna get all the werewolf ones, of course. I'm gonna try and find the Sharknado one too.
Yep. Okay,
Cool.
so yeah. Well, we're nearly done. All right, we're nearly done. We're down to about 2 more minis. 2 more
Okay, then.
5-issue minis. I'm sorry this is taking so long, guys.
Ah,
But yeah, we open up with Veronica after everything with the vampires, and Pops is still alive in this universe, not unlike the other one where he got killed. But then it turned out there's more vampires. They bite him. Veronica shows up. She seems to think she's cured. They throw a chair at her. She catches it, revealing she still has her powers. But something causes the vampires that were attacking her to disappear. She goes right to Dilton, and I love this thing. You know, under normal circumstances, I'd say waking up to find a beautiful girl in my bedroom was me still dreaming. But yeah, she finds out, yep, she's still a vampire. And she goes to her parents, and I like, it's family meeting time. Is this about your allowance again, dear? Fine, I'll raise it an extra 100 grand a week. But that's it, you hear me? But it turns out they've always been vampires. Everything was done as an act to make her, not question it. And then Veronica disappears. How do you think about that for undoing everything from the last mini, revealing, oh, it turns out it was all an act?
Why?
Well, because they wanted to keep it going, and this is the guy, Frank Thierry, who did the Jughead stuff. He's taking over the whole time now. We then find, see Jughead's having a nightmare of Vampironica, and a bunch of vampires are ready to eat into him. But Betty keeps on saying there are no vampires. They find Pops, who seems to be still alive, and they're like, I killed you, I ate you. I hope I gave you bad gas then, you bastard. But basically, Betty reveals, and here's the interesting thing. Turns out both universes are a divergent timeline. In one universe, vampires took out all the werewolves, and the other one, the werewolves took out all the vampires.
Huh.
Yeah, and that's what she basically explains, that's what happens. They hear stuff going on outside. We find that Jughead actually makes Pops a burger, but turns out he's turned. That's why he transported over. And when the other vampires show up, Vampironica shows up, and Betty's all like, a vampire. So yes, everybody, I admit it. I was wrong about the flippin' vampires again, okay? Stupid vampire Veronica making me look like an idiot. We find out that one of the friends of the one of the regulars at their school, Jinx, she reads a book that ends up causing well, she doesn't know what she's reciting. Spoilers, turns out she's the daughter of Satan. So
He's
because
the
of
Antichrist.
that, she triggers everything from happening, which is what's causing all of the vampires to transport to the werewolf universe. So Vampironica grabs them. Werewolf Veronica never shows up in this. Vampironica grabs them and flies out of there. We see Jughead fighting off with Vampire Pops, and yeah, Betty and Veronica are arguing. Although I love it with Archie. Whoever the hell you are, you're not our Veronica. Our Veronica is a werewolf for one thing. Also, she's a lot less cool, if I'm being honest about it. Ha, a werewolf? Whatever are you talking about, Archiekins? Although I'm afraid I really can't argue the part about me being cool. But then this leads to Betty's like, well, if you excuse me if I don't find this all very funny, Veronica. Vampires show up, Vampire You shows up, all smells pretty fishy to me. You know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe whatever is going on here, you're somehow not my Betty, and I'm not your Veronica. After all, my Betty isn't a bitch. But yeah, then Veronica's basically saying like, this is no contest. But then Jughead shows up. The two tussle a little bit. She's about ready to, she goes like, Lon Chaney cheeseburger here convinced me this isn't my universe. But then Art and Betty shoots her. They calm down. And then they get a message through a reflection of the water. from Sabrina from another universe. And basically saying, now you're gonna have to listen to me very carefully. This is then where she explains how Jinx read the book and everything, and explains a bit about the multiverse, how it works. And then basically, yeah, thanks to her magic, Jughead reverts back to normal. He and Veronica seem to have some teasing a little bit. The artwork here is a little weird. But yeah, basically explains, about, the book being cast and all that. Oh, but then zombies show up at her world. Don't worry, she's fine. She even later mocked it, saying like, I can handle zombies, no problem. But yeah, then eventually they meet up with some of the Coopers, asking for help, saying like, what else do you know about the, because basically the last person in this universe who had the book that could fix everything is the head vampire. So they suit up and everything, provide weapons. Veronica gets a sword made of silver and is given some gloves to deal with it. And they make their way to the school where the book is hidden. And yeah, all the vampires are coming in, leading into the final issue, which is a rush. This is a rush. Oh yeah, the way Sabrina wins, she actually have the vampires all attack each other. And she even says, if only if it were that easy to undo to fix everything else. Oh, I love this. What I want to know is which one of you two little minxes wrote this. It's okay, I won't tell. For a good time, call Archie. And then it turns out it's the cousin. I did. Meow. What the? It was just a way to mark the spot. They make their way in there and get this. Turns out the head vampire, the one that was killed off long ago and was basically Vampire Hitler, is Sir Francis Lodge. And Veronica's great-grandfather, in other words.
Oh no!
All the vampires show up. Leads into a bit of an action sequence. They're all fighting each other. And then Veronica recites from the book. Everything starts to get reversed. And Veronica's like, since I might never get a chance to do this, what the hell, as she kisses Jughead. And then Betty pushes him aside and then says, Jughead, I know this doesn't make sense that I've been trying to murder you practically all our lives, but Betty, nothing in our crazy lives ever makes sense. Why should this? As they kiss, and then Jughead and Archie, man, the world is about to end, and damn Jughead's getting all the action. You've got to be kidding me. Veronica said, you're not going to get another chance to kiss me either, maybe. And she's gone, and nobody kisses Archie. I hate my life. Which everything goes to white, everything's resolved. We see, of course, Jinx confronts her mother about her lineage. Opposite still in the vampire and the werewolf universe for some reason. And yeah, basically we're setting things up, which leads into our finale, finally wrapping it up. Veronica, the New Blood, which basically sets up a new series as Veronica makes it back there. She's been missing for a while. Everyone has been missing. She's trying to make sense out of everything. And we find out that Keeler, turned out he was one of the vampires that was, not Keeler, that's Kevin's dad, but I forget, I will get the guy's name in a moment, but that one leader of that pack, he shows up to confront Kevin's dad. Well, she find out a bit more about him. Yeah, he attacks, runs away and everything, and then Veronica confronts her parents saying, I know everything that's gone on. And basically tells them all, and basically says how there are apex vampires. And Veronica is the second one, only other one besides her great-grandfather. Oh yeah, Fangs is the guy's name. They meet up with him. Kevin also wants to talk with Veronica. They meet up with Dilton again. Everyone's meeting up in the woods trying to figure out what's going on. And then we find out that Kevin's a vampire too. And turned out he is the one that in a moment of emotion, he bit Fang and turned him. He's the cause of it, and he feels so upset about it. We see Fang is trying to make some of the moves on Veronica. She ain't having any of it. Moose has been missing. Turns out he got turned. Veronica's mother leads her into a secret room where she's looking up about stuff. Then they soon realize, wait, her great-grandfather is still alive. Turns out Fang has been working for Mr. Lodge. And Veronica and Dilton are looking around. They're just trying, they're trying to figure out what's going on. And then they get a phone call is picked up. Turns out Moose has been turned and is working for Francis Lodge.
Ooh.
Yep. Yep, we get a bit of backstory. We get stuff filled in from that diary that you missed it, but that's what Veronica was looking through. And yeah, we basically find out in this universe, like I said, vampires, took out the werewolves and everything in this universe. Even says, I'm sure there's a universe where I died, but not here. And basically, yeah, it's made clear he's still alive. He's still alive and everything, which leads into the final issue. And the last thing we're going to be going over, Veronica meets up, teams up with Fang and the others, and confronts her father about everything. They decide, we need to take out your great-grandfather so we can finally stop all of that. And we also find out apex vampires, they eat other vampires. They thrive on their blood, and they control them as well. Which leads into a bit of a fight going on, of course. They confront her great-grandfather. Mr. Lodge actually tries to deal with his grandfather. But eventually, Mr. Lodge gets knocked right into Veronica's sword. Eventually, Francis Lodge leaves, and Mr. Lodge dies of his wounds, and Veronica and Fang decide to head on out so they can go and hunt Francis Lodge, and sets things up for another series that hasn't started yet, and who knows if it will. So that's everything.
Jesus Christ.
We started from Archie and Punisher, and ending it on that. So, what have you thought about all of this?
Archie's insane.
Archie is insane indeed.
The fact that all this started because they finally dropped the comics code and finally decided, let's go all out.
Oh man,
but
that must have been a lot of fun.
But what has been your favorite out of all of those?
I think you already know mine.
Right. Okay. Of the actual horror line itself, Archie vs. Predator is actually not part
Oh,
of the horror.
the zombie one thing. But
all right.
That was cool.
I actually favor Vampironica. Vampironica is my favorite. I like Veronica. She's my favorite. I prefer her over Betty.
I don't know. I think the cosmic horror impulse is gonna win out for me in this one. Not that should surprise you at all.
Right. And the artwork is incredible on that one, but it's been left hanging.
Even still, that was a really cool story.
It was, but that one aside. Like, what would you say if you saw about the Jughead and Vampironica? How does that one stand?
They were both
a lot of lore.
Yeah, they were both okay, but
too much.
Yeah.
I will agree, and I think the fact they had to drastically change Betty didn't help for the Jughead one. But I do think the Veronica one actually felt like it fit with the character. Would you agree with that one? But I gotta say, can we also agree? Poor Moose and Reggie, they get the worst of it.
They really
Moose,
do.
Reggie, Sabrina got shafted pretty hard.
Yep, they got Midge.
Midge as well. I think I feel the most sorry for Midge.
Oh yeah, gets blasted to pieces in the Archie vs. Predator 2 and in 1. She gets turned into a zombie. She gets and
a lot of her motivation is for Moose. So I'm like, every bad thing that happens to him, it goes to her as well.
What happens to one happens to the other.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh god, I feel sorry for this chick.
I know. He's either she turns or he turns, and then she has to deal with him as a monster.
Yeah, so that I think out of all the characters, I felt most sorry for her.
Yeah, but I just feel bad for Reggie too, though. There's a lot of times where he's like, okay, the guy's an asshole, but doesn't deserve this, and then he gets made into he had a good point calling out Jughead, but then the werewolf side turns him into a bigger monster. I think the reason why though is because I feel like all these versions treated Veronica dirty except for Veronica. Let's be honest, all of them did. Most of them did, I should say.
I guess. I mean, I'm not as huge of a fan as you are, so.
Right. But so overall, though, I hope they do more. But so did this encourage either of you to want to go out and buy any of it?
Some of it, yeah.
But not all of it. But by now, Veronica and Jughead the Hunter, they got graphic audio adaptations. As in multi-casted and cast-acted big sound effects and music. And they call it a movie in your mind. They got the adaptation treatment for that. So if you want to hear something with a full cast for the Jughead the Hunger or the first Veronica mini, you'll be able to get them on their websites. Yep, Afterlife with Archie hasn't gotten that treatment yet, but I still want to know where are they going to go with it? That's the one thing I find is that at first it felt like it was a typical zombie thing, and then eventually, wait, Cthulhu's involved?
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, that issue with Sabrina, it was meant to end worse. Much worse. Turns out her being the bride of Cthulhu was her getting off easy.
Oh boy.
We don't know. No one's ever said what the original plan was, and they never revealed it. So I can't help but wonder what was planned.
Oh damn.
So yeah, that's the Archie Horror line. Fine. So, and what would you say art-wise, besides Afterlife, which one would you say was your favorite artwork-wise for the other books?
Oh man, that's a really good question.
That isn't the house style, so that means Sharknado and the first Archie vs. the Predator don't count.
I don't know, that Veronica art was really good.
I think I like the first Jughead the Hunger, the
one shot.
The one shot. That artwork was pretty sweet.
It was. It's a shame they didn't continue on with that guy, because I do not like how after the first issue of the ongoing, it's been split into two very different artist teams. It's like, what the heck? But yeah, I mean, overall though, I really do like it. Now, next time I promise will be a short one for the next class. So I want to know which are you interested in this? Superman Up and Away. It's just a graphic novel of about 8 or 9 issues. Just a one story. It was the first post Infinite Crisis 1 year later story, and it is one of the best Superman stories I've ever read.
Sounds cool to me.
Mm-hmm.
You up for that one, Ingrid?
We'll see.
All right. So thank you guys, and thank you all for joining. I'm sorry this went on longer than I know it started to drag once I went into Jughead. I know there's so much details on it, but you can see why I skipped through Sabrina and Blossom.
Yeah, I thank you for that.
Now the Sabrina one again, it's because it was such a slow burn. I do recommend it. It's the reason why it got its own show, the Netflix show.
There's a Netflix show?
Yeah, well there was. It's over now. But yeah, though, so thank you all for coming, and see you in the next class session.
All
Bye-bye.
right.
Take care.